Good morning.
Morning.
I'm going to come out of the book of Acts, 9th chapter, 4th through 11th verses. And it's about Saul, and it's called Saul's First Prayer. And he, because as y'all well know, that Saul was persecuting the church. And he was trying to find all the people that tried to worship under the name of Christ to take them back to Jerusalem and persecute them or kill them. Like Stephen, for example. You know what he did to him? He held the coats as they killed him or stoned him. I don't think they like using the word kill as opposed to stone. That's their method. But it says here, and he fell to the earth and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. It is hard for thee to kick against the prick. And he trembled, and he trembling and astonished said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the city, and it shall be told thee what thou must do. And the men which journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing his voice, but seeing no man. And Saul arose from the earth, and when his eyes were opened, he saw no man. But they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was there 3 days without sight, neither did he eat nor drink. And there was a certain disciple at Damascus named Ananias. And to him said the Lord in a vision, Ananias. And he said, Behold, I am here, Lord. And the Lord said unto him, Arise and go into the street which is called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judah for one called Saul of Tarsus. For behold, he prayed. Now, this made me think and wonder about Saul. Saul was strong against the church. I mean, really strong. That he took his time to follow and hunt down any and everybody that worshiped Christ. But when Christ came to him and said, Why persecutest thou me? You notice what Saul said to him? He said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus whom thou persecutest. It is hard to kick against the prick. That's when Saul began to know who to believe that Jesus was who he said he was. And then he wanted to know what he wanted him to do. Because as much as he tried to hold up the church and the synagogue down, he wanted to do what Jesus was trying to do. I wanted him to know what Jesus wanted Saul to do. And he told Saul, he said, and he sent him to Ananias. And Saul was down, to think about it, he's down 3 days with not able to eat, sleep, not move, pretty much. He's prostrate for that much. Now, when you encounter God, Christ, and he does that to you, I think he'll get our attention, don't you? Without a doubt, he will get our attention. Paul did a 180-degree turn from what he was doing, and how in his motivation about what he was doing to follow Christ. And Christ said that he was going to use him. This is a vessel that he's going to use and to get and allow him to spread his word to the Gentiles, the Jews, and the Samaritans, and the little children. And I didn't catch that until some time back. The little children of Israel, or the Jews. He wanted them to preach to them as well.
Oh, yeah?
So, you think about it.
Okay.
You think about when you think. I think about it. That's a big change in a person. And the things that he had to go through, he had to take beatings. He had to run for his life. Because there's one place there, they let him down in a basket, because they heard that they were going to kill him. And it's kind of sort of like if you follow Christ, look out. It's not going to be an easy road to travel. You're going to suffer like he suffered. Your life is not going to be your own anymore. You're going to live like you're a vagabond or a fugitive from justice. And it said that when Christ told him this, let me see if I can locate it. He told him he's going to all pray. And they said, because they said, behold, he prayed. When they saw who Saul was, and they were all afraid of him, they said he prayed. He prayed. Well, he prayed, and where is it? Here it is. He said that Paul was going to teach about Christ. And he said that the application of teaching about Christ was God and God alone that would give it to you, but Paul was to minister to you about who Christ was or is. Now, and it said that Paul began to pray, and then it was that Jesus from heaven descended, came the vision to Ananias and arose, and go in and told him, arise and go into the street called Straight, and inquire in the house of Judas of one called Saul of Tarsus, for he prayed. That's when Christ was listening to him, when he prayed. So to me that says we can pray to God, pray to Christ, all we want to. But if it's worldly, like if it's for money or a new house or a new car, you don't listen, you don't hear those. When things pertain to heaven and God's word and Christ's word, then he hears. Like when Paul, behold, they said he prayed. Even the angels heard Paul in heaven praying. So, whether or not we think we get our prayers go through, whether or not we are praying, when we pray, are our prayers being heard? Yes, without a doubt. In heaven, they're heard in heaven. And depending upon what they are, determines whether or not God responds to them. He won't, like I said, he won't respond to buying cars and houses and stuff like worldly stuff. He responds to things that pertain to him. Salvation, forgiveness, confession, being a sinner, and you. Was the announcement of an effect that was noticed in heaven. Paul, or Saul, had been led to cry for mercy. And the moment he began to pray, God began to hear. Do you not notice in reading the chapter what attention God paid to Saul? He knew the street where he lived. To go to the street that is called Straight. He knew the house where he resided. Inquired of the house of Judah. He knew his name is Saul. Knew the place where he came from. Inquired of Saul of Tarsus. And he knew that he had prayed. And that's knowing a whole lot about you, just and all. He was watching him the whole time. Persecuting the church, persecuting his him. I think he could get away with it. And he had a bad attitude toward Christians. He prayed like he named off the stuff that he's not like other people. He's not, he doesn't pray with a heartfelt prayer. Because we can say things like we live and we get up early in the morning and run a little late, sling God a little quick prayer. Pretty much ain't that. He ain't pretty much here now. When we take the time to sit down and pray, heartfelt, he hears it. But not until then. Well, let's see. Oh. And I got a lot of this information from this book. Spurgeon on prayer. He's in my opinion, he was a very good writer years ago. I think if you want to learn or to understand things that you have to do, like praying, and forgiveness and stuff like that, Spurgeon would be a good person to hear or to read about, because he breaks it down and gives it to you just like J. Vernon McGee would say, where the rubber meets the road. He puts it down there for you. And if you want to get when you want to get absorbed into it, and if you got a little quiet spot, he's a very good book to read on prayer. special, because like I said, we all do it. We all do give. Throw them a quick shout of prayer that we think is a prayer. He don't take it lightly. Because look how he did Saul. He changed his name, put him out there and let him follow him, use him for the kingdom. I mean, when I say use him, Saul had, what Christ would have done had he stayed on the earth, Saul was doing. He was literally running for his life. So, Saul ended up with that. And how many times I think he said he was almost drowned, shipwrecked, beat, 39, however many times he had been beaten. The treatment that he had endured went from nobody wanted to be near because they were afraid of him to it seemed like everybody was trying to kill him. Now, how would you like to live a life like that? I don't know many that would want to live a life being chastised on every side. Prison, beat, until finally they was beheaded here. But it's a short one. There's a lot more in here that I could have spoke on, but I can't. But it's hard for me to remember it now. My thing was, it forced Paul to pray. It turned Paul from a, he described him as a furious bigot. It was impossible to conceive. He had been bespattered with the blood of Stephen when they stoned him to death. Was Paul and his crew that the men left their clothes in his charge, living at Jerusalem in the college of Gamaliel. He constantly came in contact with the disciples of the man of Nazareth. He laughed at them, he reviled them as they passed by. But he procured enactment against them and put them to death. And now as a crowning point, and he described him as a werewolf, having tasted blood, become exceeding mad, determined to go to Damascus. So he had a heart of stone when it comes to Christ and Christians. Didn't even care for nothing about it pertaining to it. And then he did a turnaround, and he changed, and he down on his knee, he's praying and confessing that he's a sinner. That's amazing. And to me, and that's amazing, that you could make a person, I mean, we as people nowadays, our turnaround is not all that, not in 3 days. But we, as a people, ours is gradual. Whereas Paul, he turned him around. I mean, he was calling him Lord and everything. From one extreme to the other. And that, to me, like I said, that's amazing. And the church was amazed at it, or in heaven. He prayed. They were astonished. He got their attention when he started praying. it was stunning. Angels, and all the others that were there said he prayed. And who would have thought? I mean, really, who would have thought a person with a heart like Paul would pray? I mean, not quote stout words like the world would, like I pay tithes and I fast a couple times a week and all that. Now, he prayed. That's amazing to me. And he asked God to have mercy on him. That's God would definitely had it in for him, or Christ did. You're gonna be a vessel of his using. You're gonna set him aside. Because isn't that what he said? I'm gonna set him aside.